You mean to tell me after the 10 years of positivity that Woods and I have given you, you mean to tell me you're this mad over one day?
In 3, 2, 1, clap.
Huh? Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
JR's barbecue sauce. So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle. Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. Oh, no way. I was kidding. I swear to God. I'm scared. It was just the first thing that came to my head. It was the first thing.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts ODM and the Professor.
Good Wrestling Day. Top of Wrestling Podcast is back. It is Wednesday, December 11th. I am the Professor, and I don't know the date, but hey, we're recording this on my birthday. Having a fun time here today. I'm liquored up. He's liquored up, kind of. ODM, how are you?
Happy birthday, homie. For me? Yeah.
Me. Thought of. I like that. Nice. Had to look at. Hey, we talked about it a little bit last week. I went to LA this past weekend. Maybe it was my fault. I don't know. I went to the game. We lost. What a game to go to, man. Just 42-44. It was just nothing but offense, which, hey, man, I saw a lot of, as my mother-in-law put it, you saw a lot of football. We did. We saw a lot of football plays, man. It was fun. Great time. It was my first time being really downtown in L.A. Got to do the Walk of Fame. But, man, it wasn't even until the day of going to the game on Sunday, I was like, SoFi. I was like, isn't that where they did WrestleMania 39? I'm pretty sure. So it was cool being in there and being, seeing, because I was in the section 500, the top. And to be honest with you, not a bad seat in the house. And I was like actually imagining, I'm like, I could see Josh Allen, no problem from here. I could see watching the wrestling, not having to look at the Titantron as much, but
Right.
Big fucking stadium, had a good time. I thought you'd appreciate this. And this guy in front of me, he was there with his daughter. He's like 50-ish. And you could tell it's that we see each other once or twice a year. You know what I mean? She lives with her mother full-time in Idaho. He said that she's living in Idaho. He's like, but she's a Bills fan and I'm a Rams fan, so we're here together. At first, he had Ray DeVito, the baked potato vibes. Right? So I was like already thinking he's a douche. And in the first couple plays, man, I clap with power, enthusiasm. I cup. So you're getting a
Nice little echo.
Not like a yeah. And he turns and he looks back and he goes, I'm probably gonna go deaf from the guy behind me. And I go, oh, now you are. Like I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, at least turn, say, I don't know, whatever. But we ended up all making friends, being cool. I was wearing the lucha mask the whole time. He's like, are you sweating in that thing? I'm like, I can't hear anything you're saying with this thing on my head. And it's true because people would say something and I had like a 5 to 10 second delay to realize they were talking to me because my ears were muffled. But one of the funniest things is this guy, he's a Rams fan. At one point he's talking to his daughter and he leans backwards and his head bashes right into my hands, which they're folded. I'm leaning forward, watching like intently.
Please,
and he
God.
leans back and hits my fist, and I go, "Hey, you punched your own head. I just want you to know how it's going to go down with the security when we talk about that later." It was just fun. We had a great time. 4 different people came up to me in the parking lot. Yo, I got to get a picture of you, man. That's cool. My buddy's a wrestling fan. I got to get a picture of this. I was the only one wearing a lucha mask, man. I had the Bills lucha. I had the Zubas going, but good game, bad loss.
I wore mine to a Bills game once in the winter. It actually kept my head quite warm, so.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't sweating in LA. It was probably like a good 60s.
Well, that's solid.
Like the best. So, like, we were drinking in the lot and everything and hanging out. It was fine. But as it got going, I was like, oh, God, I would really like to take this off. And my wife was like, you're committing until we get back in an Uber. Mm-hmm. No one's to see your face.
Yeah.
Wrestling style.
That's
lucha
true.
style.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No one ever saw my face. Actually, so true story. Mine's California, right? Everybody's having their chicken nuggets out here.
Oh, yeah.
And
Bunch of hippies.
But it says specifically that it's not allowed in the lots.
Oh.
And I see this one guy doing it, and I go, "Hey, man," I know you're doing it, but I'm curious of something. Like, I'm like, how hard? He goes, "Yo, people are dying out here with heroin in the streets. They're not worried about this." He goes, "And I'm an ex-cop." And I go, or he goes, "I'm a retired police officer." I go, "Oh, okay, cool." And I go, "Well, I'm going to tell everybody you said it's okay." He goes, "I have no idea who you are," because I had the lucha mask on. I go, "All right, brother, see you later." Great time, honestly, man. But walking down the Walk of Fame, Hollywood Boulevard, and, man, I see so many actors. I mean, you name it, it was there. It's cool. You could spend so many hours just looking at all of them. I was like, I wish nobody was in my way. I just wanted to get, like, clear shots of certain ones. Right next to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right before him, Vince McMahon. Right after him, Trump. I go, oh, all 3 Hall of Famers, or WWE in a way. And I had to send a picture to you of me and VKM, giving my sentiments. The way Stephanie does this week in the Monday Night Wars.
Yep. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together when you first sent it to me. I'm like, so he took a picture of somebody flipping off Vince McMahon's star and put our logo over his head? I'm like, why would he do that? It took me a while to realize it was you. So I forgot you were out there.
Oh!
Yeah.
Because I had sent it. I go, what do you think of a logo possibly?
Like,
You go, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, bro, I worked hard on this thing.
Yeah, real hard.
Well, no, we got back to the Airbnb. I made 2 stars that have our names. So, they have blank stars.
Yeah.
There's certain ones that are just blank, and I wanted to just grab a Sharpie and be like, the professor. But, no, good time, man. We and the dog loved it out there. She had a good time walking through the Walk of Fame, and it was funny. I'm like, which star is she going to piss on? I just need to know. And she didn't. We were like, man, it would be so funny. Like, she got near Weird Al and kind of like did a weird walk. And I'm like, oh, no, not him. Move on. Oh, there's Billy Crystal. I'm all right with that. All right, let's get into some wrestling since, that's probably what the show's a little bit about.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, we do have the wars. We got bringing to the table. News this week, we got a little bit. And our top topic, we're getting the holiday season, as we talked about last week, and we're going to be chatting a little bit of Christmas movies and music. But getting into some news, I see the very first thing you put in here in the news, and I did see, I think it was from Nick Khan that made the actual statement. When WWE does move to Netflix, they're going to remain PG. Now, here's the deal. Does PG mean they're going to be doing a bunch of suffer and succotash and poo-poo pee-pee jokes like John Cena like to do? No. They've already shown that they can get into the edgier kind of content, but still keeping it a family-friendly thing. I mean, it's parental guidance. Still saying, hey, we wouldn't let a random kid just watch us on their own. I'm okay with it. I don't need them to come out and be like, cocksucker! Just...
Yeah, I
don't need you to be R just because you're R.
Right, exactly. The rating is just to pacify, and they have leniency, and they know they'll be able to get away with shit, and if they push it, then they can always just change the rating. It's really not that big of a deal. I did hear that, and I don't know how this works, is that there's a report that they may not bleep out the holy shit chants, which would be a fucking welcome change of pace, just so we don't have to hear the sound cut out.
Legit, that's all I want. That's all I want is for that to go away. It bothers me when the holy shit chant bothers. Even if I was live at a show, I'd be like, shh, guys, stop. No one's going to hear anything.
I know, right? Think about the audience at home.
Right? So, we talk about how someone like Finn Balor has never really got his full due, I guess, if you will. He's had a couple of main event spots, and then he got injured, things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, they put the title on him, but he had to relinquish it the next day, so we never got to see what that push would have looked like.
Yep. And, you remember him facing Seth. He had 7 written on his arm for the 7, years or 7 months or whatever it was. Right now, we're seeing that he's being considered for a big singles push, and the most important part with that is that he's been seen as a locker room leader, according to sources, and I think that that's awesome. The right guy to have in place. He's in his 40s now. You know what I mean? He's been around. He's seasoned, and I got to be honest with how things are going into this Saturday night's main event. Man, I think we're going to get at least one world title change. I think it's either going to be the Raw or the SmackDown title. One of them is actually going to change hands this Saturday. And I think it's a perfect time for for Finn Balor to be able to capitalize on that somehow, where you make Gunther look clean or look strong, and you end up getting that pin on Damian, whatever the case is. I think there's a chance of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I wonder how they would do that. Maybe like a triple threat match or something.
Oh, that's cute. I forgot. You didn't watch Raw. It's a triple threat match this coming Saturday night.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Damian Priest was added to the mix.
All right. Well, there you go. That's not a bad one.
Sorry, didn't mean to call you cute.
No, I know how you really feel. Don't worry about it. I think that's good. I talked about, I could really see Priest and Gunther having a decent feud going. Maybe they even pass the title back a couple times, but you had Finn Balor and you want to give him that push. It seems, we always say it's kind of weird for it to go from a heel to a heel, but that's the thing with a triple threat. So, you can continue the feud between the two of them, and, maybe Priest gets the title back, drops it back to Gunther, something like that. But yeah, it is nice to see. Honestly, me just being a mark now, Nakamura's on SmackDown, but seeing Finn and Nakamura go head to head would be pretty fucking cool.
Man, I just want those two guys and AJ to all get together and form something.
Yeah, right. That'd be fucking crazy.
But one of my favorite things I read last week, I couldn't stop laughing. Ricochet said there would not be an AEW if not for Ricochet. Now, yes, he just got to the company. But what he's saying is his indie style in Lucha Underground, his matches with Will Ospreay in the Best of Super Juniors, all that crap. He's saying without him doing the shit he did on the indies, AEW wouldn't exist. Fine, weirdest fucking way I've ever heard someone pat themselves on the back.
Yeah, he a bitch. He's right up there with the fucking Young Bucks. Let's not forget, and I think Cornette said this recently, Tony Khan was going to start AEW with or without the Bucks or Cody or Omega.
Right.
He was going to start that wrestling company. It's just that the Bucks and Omega, took advantage of the situation and are like, hey, let's be part of this, and you know what I mean? So, but again, this is just, Mike and I used to always talk about, he always consistently had a solid match on WWE television, right? It would be entertaining. Yeah, it was a lot of flips and shit, but you could get over it. And, it was usually a decent match. And it's been nothing but train wreck after train wreck since he left. His newest statement, too, is that, I'm pretty sure that I kind of contributed to Samantha leaving WWE because, she had been talking about it, and then I left, so she's like, well, what the hell? So, that's just my opinion. But, between that and him just interacting with fans on Twitter the way that he does is he a bitch. Bitch-a-shay.
It's funny because when you want to say who is the best heel of 2024, you want to say someone like Dirty Dom because of the amount of booze that he gets, right?
Right.
But you want to do social media the right way? Be Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heel.
Yeah.
He plays into social media in kayfabe, as where Ricochet's like, I can't believe you don't like my match.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony's like, I can't believe you didn't like his match.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And I'm not even fucking exaggerating. That's like kind of pretty much what some of these tweets are. But, and we're going to talk about this guy in a minute a little more, but Brody King has officially accepted David Finlay's open challenge for the Global Championship for Wrestle Dynasty, the day after Wrestle Kingdom. I'm actually, to be honest with you, pretty excited to see this match because I think Brody King is extremely underutilized for what his size is and speed.
Mm-hmm.
And David Finlay is no, short slouch in that department either because he's a big guy who can move. He's like Damian Priest stature if you want to talk about size if you don't know who David Finlay is. Again, son of Fit. But that could actually be a pretty good match. I'm trying to look at it optimistically. Wrestle Kingdom right now looks like it's not. It's going to be the first January 4th that I'm like not figuring out a work schedule where I'm like, all right, well, I got to not do this because I really want to watch this pay-per-view. Now I'm like, I'm all right, whatever.
It's almost like AEW's tainted the waters.
They did. They peed in the water and it turned blue.
Yep.
They could tell. But, someone who's having a great, let's see, how do I want to say this? Not push, but just a great career over the last couple of years, subtly, really is Karrion Kross. Look, you could be the world champion, but you have to have challengers. You could be a challenger, but once you're done, where do you go from there? Karrion Kross is not looking for championship titles, but he's done a lot of meaningful feuds. The night that Bray Wyatt returned at Extreme Rules, right? It ended with Matt Riddle and Seth in that fight pit cage. Earlier in the night was a great strap match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. Right after that, Drew turns heel. Then Kross has a match with Nakamura, or a feud with him. He turns heel, goes after Seth Rollins. Ended up making AJ Styles turn heel on guys like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And then getting over to Raw, he fucked with Mello a little bit. He definitely made Miz turn on Truth. And now he's got the New Day to turn on Big E. Karrion Kross is low-key having probably one of the best heel runs that nobody's really paying attention to. They're not seeing it. It's the Karrion Kross effect. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's sneakily returning to relevance. On
his own.
On his own, yeah. His social media presence is great. You were just talking about that, about Bitchishay. Kross is another good one, just because, he's kayfabing. He's telling, he's commenting on the stories he's involved with.
He's doing skits.
Yeah.
Like the Scarlet one. We'll go
so
look.
great.
He's pretty dead. I'm showing he's dead, but all right, we'll go. But it was still Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't whoever he is in real life. I don't even know his real name. I only knew him as Killer Kross before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good
Oh,
stuff.
do not miss an opportunity at Saturday night's main event. I just realized Jesse Ventura is there. Please do not miss an opportunity to have
voice.
Karrion come out and do something.
Oh, that'd be great. Ellering's back too now. So he might be
yeah,
able to do
so
something
he
with
came
that.
back Monday on Raw helping Final Testament and Miz beat Wyatt 6,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm okay with.
Yeah, they got to lose every once in a while.
I was like, if Final Testament drops to Wyatt 6, where do they go from here? I'm actually glad that Wyatt's lost it because I'm into Karrion Kross right now. I'm like, this is at least a mid-card title maybe in his future, but I'm saying that he's back in relevancy, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of people not in relevancy, we're going to start breaking things up each week because it seems like we have a lot of injuries. We got a lot of different contracts, going on with people jumping ship. But recent injury news, Tonga Loa somehow tore his bicep in the War Games match. You botched even showing how you got hurt? Bronson Reed is definitely out with a broken ankle, and he'll be missing WrestleMania.
Yeah, he just had surgery. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I didn't see the timetable, but yeah, he's definitely out till WrestleMania.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Have you seen the video in slow-mo where he lands on it?
Fucking nasty.
That's a lot of weight, too.
Yeah.
It's not even, like we talked about the edge thing. It's also like an extra 300 pounds on that ankle that went down.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you take risks doing spots like that. He did. It sucks. It's unfortunate. We thought he was on a good run. Hopefully when he comes back, they really just fucking lean into it. Because, like I said, you kept saying, keep your foot on the gas, and they didn't do that, in my opinion. They let off too much.
Well, as we've seen, an injury sometimes is the best thing possible.
Yeah.
Go back to Triple H was the most hated motherfucker in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Tears his quad, comes back in Madison Square Garden. Everybody's like, Triple H, Triple H, Triple H. like they were the biggest marks of all time. This is huge because when he does return and jumps anybody, which I would put him right to the world title picture, have him take out a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as Bronson comes back and takes someone out, it's going to be a pop.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
So I'm not sure if you've seen this, but TNA had a vignette for an upcoming wrestler that's supposed to be showing up there. And one thing that happened is it was this multicolored tie-dye looking thing, or the background, and it said 23. And I'm not going to say I cracked this code because I'm too fucking stupid to. But someone said, what if the 23 is number 2 is the letter B, 3 being C, BC, Baron Corbin. I go, all right, while it's a stretch, I see it, but if that's what it happens to be, fine. I don't know if Corbin, I never even dawned on me that where he would show up. I don't see him going to AEW. He would be a Jake Hager over there. You'd be there for 1 minute doing something and then nothing else. He'll be in Jericho's learning tree. But do you think TNA?
I think that's a good fit for him.
I almost wonder about him in Japan. Or like New Japan Strong, where you got your Fred Rosser, Tom Lawlers, all those guys.
That would be cool. I mean, I'm definitely not against it. It'd be nice to see him in more of a Raw format like New Japan, where he's kind of stripped down just to his true persona, because he's been buried in gimmicks so long that we've kind of forgotten what he used to be. The lone wolf,
agree. So, with contract status, I know you've seen a lot of it, but Ray Phoenix is pissed off right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, I will be speaking my truth very soon. No one stays in a place where they receive inhumane treatment. Well, speak for yourself, Phoenix. I've been working for the same company for a long fucking time. But, that being said, he also said, I needed a doctor and was ignored for months. Do you remember when Punk tore his bicep? I think it was. And he said, I just sat on the side and was like, oh, are you guys going to get me hooked up with a doctor or what? Like, what's the plan? And no one knew what the fuck they were doing.
It's a shit show.
The same with Ray Phoenix. Mm-hmm. But what's fucked up is he sat sidelined, ignored for months, and he could have gotten better, and Tony has tacked those months on to his contract right now, which reportedly
is a year.
Penta is officially signed with WWE from what I'm seeing.
Yep, that's what a lot of things I've seen. I think I saw he'd show up on SmackDown maybe. Maybe I'm wrong though.
So Nick Aldis told Carmelo next week you're going to face a new superstar.
That's what it is. Yep.
And word is that it's Penta.
Bro.
I'm curious. I like it, but I'm also curious of the reaction.
Me too.
You got some WWE diehards who may not know who Penta is, to be honest with you.
Okay, but think about that. Think about not knowing who this guy is and just looking at him. Would you be impressed?
Fair enough, because you know what? I mean, I dabbled in WCW back in my day, but when Rey Mysterio showed up to face Kurt Angle and just started doing his shit in the ring, you're like, okay, Rey Mysterio's arrived. So it could be the same thing. Penta shows up. You get 2 Cien Meros, and that's it.
Yeah.
You do more than that, I can't fucking back your ass up.
Right, yeah.
I swear to God, Tony's like, and after this clothesline, I would actually put your fingers up and down again, Cien Mero. And one other person who is set to debut very soon in NXT, Hikuleo. He's there. He's in the system. They're just biding their time. They're waiting to see when's the right time to put him in there.
Right.
And it looks like they're probably going to do NXT first. If Zilla fought 2, same thing, I would put him in NXT first.
Sure.
Solo never should have touched. He did like a little bit of NXT, went to the main roster, back to NXT to win the North American title, drop the North American title, go back to the main roster.
Right.
Get your time in an NXT.
Absolutely.
Make someone like you first. Because
Make your arrival worth
not
something.
everybody's Jacob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But not everybody's Jacob. Jacob comes in like a fucking bolt of lightning, and you're like, all right, I like this.
Yep.
But Tongaloa, people are like, we could have seen him in NXT a minute. I mean, we did. He was Camacho. Hey, TK's quick sniff of the week. Did you see that? Ryan Nemeth is now going after Tony Khan and the company because they did nothing when Punk got in his face. So this is Ryan Nemeth, the one that the song is, he's Nick Nemeth's brother, the end.
Yeah.
He's saying that because when Punk came back and said that line about you're just as soft as the wrestlers that you like, and that he's one Bill Phil around the counterfeit bucks. Ryan Nemeth put out a tweet saying something about, and this is from the softest man in the world. Talking about Punk, because he's injured. Punk got in his face backstage and said, do you have something to fucking say to me? And Ryan is now bitching about it a full year and a half after Punk has now completely been fired from AEW, and he's like, they didn't do me any favors over there. First, you're in TNA right now. Why are you even worried about AEW? And you're going back in time being like that's like me going back to the car wash that didn't back me up in an argument I worked at 25 years ago and be like, you know what, motherfucker? I didn't bring this up then, but I'm going to do it now. Now this seems relevant that Ryan Nemeth is like, well, Punk got in my face and Tony and them did nothing to help. Because you're an irrelevant bastard who went out and thought it was a good idea to put a fucking tweet out talking shit about Punk, and he called your ass out.
There you go. Play stupid
Cry me
games.
a river. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Play Punk games, you win Punk prizes. The Hurt Syndicate has been together all but a month on AEW, and Shelton Benjamin lost his match on Dynamite, and MVP and Lashley are laying into him. Yo, I mean, come on, man. I thought you're supposed to be hurting people. I know, but you ain't doing it. Oh, awesome. You guys have been on TV a month, and we're showing a dissension. Good job, Tony. That's why we call this part of this quick sniffs of the week, because it was the quick idea. Oh, what if we have you guys fighting already? It's okay. Family does it. Here's a funny one. This one, someone put it out this way, and I was like, God damn, it makes sense. John Moxley and his crew are taking over the company. They threatened to put bleach down Orange Cassidy's fucking throat the other day, or like Windex, or whatever it was. Meanwhile, there's other groups just doing their own thing. Hey, we have a Continental Classic tournament going on, if you guys like that. Like, it doesn't make sense. You're acting like there's a big takeover. At least when the Nexus was taking over, they came out almost every match to hurt somebody. Same with NWO, or someone who's getting their point across. Even Kane on one night disrupted everything. They just do one segment, and they're like, we're taking over the company. And Tony's like, good shit. All right, let's do a 45-minute wrestling match.
It's, yeah. Again, we talked about it the other week, Mox's interview, I think, with the New York Times or whatever, and where it was just this nonsensical rambling, and you're seeing it reflected in the product. I mean, let's take a look back at Punk. That whole thing where, and and with Phoenix, wanting a doctor, not getting a doctor assigned to them, provided for them, right? You could say that it's because of who they are, right? Punk was stirring the shit, so they said, fuck you, you're on your own. Phoenix, they knew he wanted to leave. They could have said, fuck you, we're not getting you a doctor. Maybe that's part of it. I think what's more likely, though, is that company from top to bottom is so inept that they don't have the capacity to take care of simple things like that. Like, holy shit, one of our stars is hurt. Let's get a doctor for him, right? There's no leadership from the top down, and it's reflected in the booking, too. You're letting the inmates run the asylum, and this is what you get. You get the Bucks putting the tag titles on themselves, and Moxley just quoting whatever movie he watched that week.
Yep. But Tony was so impressed with himself with how he handled Brody Lee's death and being there and taking care of your people. Okay, fine. That was one out of everybody else. Yeah. Everybody else who's been injured has been taking care of themselves. So for the Martins, Dante and Darius, it's like one comes back, the other one gets injured. They must have their own personal doctor on retainer.
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
You know who stepped in on this? And I was like, wow, the relevance of this person from 1985. Missy Hyatt put out a tweet and was like, I'll work for AEW. You don't even have to work dates. You can just sit at home the whole time and get paid for it. And it's in reference to both Phoenix and Starks. Mm-hmm. Good for her. I like that. I've always liked Missy Hyatt. And Paul London had one of the funniest things I read, and I just couldn't stop laughing. His favorite comedy to watch each week on TV is Dynamite. I'm going to let that sink in for a second, okay? There's a lot of TV shows that are comedy. And he said, no, it's great. I mean, you got people burning houses. People are just filling cars with coins. You got really obvious fake walls that you're using to put up props like an office like we've seen. He goes, it's just bad ideas. He goes, it's so bad, it's hilarious. It's my favorite comedy show each week, Dynamite. Like Paul London. Good for you on that entire thing, because it's so funny to say. It's like, you're not even saying my favorite wrestling show. My favorite comedy show each week is Dynamite. Accurate. Speaking of, last week I decided to put Dynamite on, and because it's on in the background, I'm like, yeah, why not? And the Continental Classic went on, and Kazuchika Okada and Daniel Garcia went to a 20-minute draw. Now, I do want to clarify something. The title was sitting at ringside for every match on a podium. So, Okada, quote-unquote, is not stripped of it, but he held the title all the way up till and is fighting to go for round 2. Much like the Dynamite Battle Royal ring that
like
MJF
I said,
has.
Yep.
Which, by the way, MJF is entering, I think, again. I think it's going to be his 4th or 5th in a row that he wins this shit.
I hope he does. I hope he does at this point.
I do and I don't. But what killed me was the main event match. We're going to keep with this match either till it's time limit or until we have a winner. Claudio versus Brody King. Brody was hitting some nasty, stiff, awesome finishing-looking shots on Claudio. And then, bam, one finishing move from Claudio, and Brody loses to him. I don't even know how you're dropping a ball on Brody King. Look at him. I mean, the dude's a monster and moves faster or on par with your Ricochet and Felchers. At least, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good... Like, it's if Vader was the most athletic wrestler of all time and was great at, wrestling, everything. Like, is what he lacked, Brody has, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You see a lot more of that these days. Dijak and Keith Lee, whatever he's up to these days.
I haven't seen him since the Hall of Fame. Ricky Starks was pulled from the GCW events, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not allowed to go over there with those guys. So what does Tony Khan do? He books for Chris Jericho to defend his Ring of Honor championship at Final Battle, which will be this coming weekend, if I'm not mistaken. That's how much I give a fuck about it. Against Matt Cardona. The guy that Ricky Starks was supposed to face at the GCW event well, you guys aren't allowed to have Ricky over there, but we'll take Cardona over here for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the main reasons I think he booked Cardona? Where is Saturday night's main event?
Oh.
From Long Island, where Cardona's from. It would have been an epic fucking return if he showed up there. Hey, would you like a world title shot for Ring of Honor? The thing that's on the internet? Yeah, I guess I'll do that for the night. I mean, Chelsea Green's already there. I mean, I feel like it's inevitable that Cardona will eventually go there. I mean, he's killing it on the indies, but
he's killing it on the indies, and
point.
I think that's because that's where he's going to be best utilized. He keeps talking about showing back up. I don't know that it's actually going to happen.
I actually, you know what? I like it. Keep teasing that you're going to come back and just never do. Mm-hmm. Keep everybody wondering.
Come back and win the IC title for one day again.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, that's right. With Raw, SmackDown, NXT, we did talk about Penta could be the one showing up this coming Friday. Man, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or you ain't going to fool me again. However Bush says
Won't get fooled again.
I was not expecting both DIY members to turn heel the way they did on SmackDown. Johnny Gargano, and it was funny how he even turns and said, he goes, wow, that was easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And then tags Ciampa in after doing the low blow, playing into it, right? Being like, wow, you're right, that really worked, because they were pushing each other, getting mad at each other. Ciampa grabs a chair. It was well set up. Well, you got me with the New Day, and then you got me with DIY? I'm impressed.
I think Gargano's...
All for it.
I hate Gargano now anyway. I was over him after... NXT and the feud with Ciampa, basically, but he's a better heel. He's easy to hate, so I think he's better off as a heel. So not a bad move. And heel Ciampa, we all know, fucking psycho killer.
We'll also go back to Gargano was playing a good heel with him, Candice LeRae, and I believe it was Austin Theory was in their little group.
Okay.
And even Dexter Lumis a little bit
Yep.
when it was on NXT. So we've seen him do the heel thing. I'm all for this. I think this is the best move we could have done for DIY, because it was what? We're going to do another feud between the two guys? We've seen it.
Yeah.
And someone's just going to get lost in the shuffle, or both. Kevin Owens had a fucking hysterical sit-down interview with Michael Cole in the parking lot in his rental car.
Well,
he's like, no, just come on in. Here, come
here's the
sit
thing.
over here.
After DIY won the tag titles, Cole got up and just started walking out. And I was like, is he really that pissed off that Gargano turned? No, he was going out to meet Kevin Owens in the car.
Yep. And it was funny, like Kevin just being him. It was awesome. My favorite part. He goes, you know what? All right, get out, Cole. And as Cole gets out, he goes, hey, Michael, one last thing. And as Michael turns to look, he just rolls the window up. That was it. That's all he did, was just roll the window up on me. Hey, one more thing. And just rolls the window up and took off. And I go,
I love it.
Fucking Kevin Owens. Oh, he's so good. NXT Deadline was this past Saturday night. Both Giulia, or Giulia, and Oba Femi won their Iron Survivor matches, which gives them both NXT championship matches on New Year's Day. Oba Femi was the surprise entrant into it, and his stuff with Ethan Page, you have to see, was really, really great. He had Page's face slammed up against, because if you get pinned, you go into the penalty box for like 90 seconds. So you can't compete and get any pins on anybody. And Oba just had Ethan Page's face just slammed right up against that plexiglass, and he sold it well. And it was that moment I go, he was already champion. He's doing all this. I'm seeing this, and I go, holy shit. Good for him. Ethan Page had the best crossover year, I feel like, out of anybody who went from either AEW to WWE or WWE to AEW. Outside of Punk, but Page, character-wise and building yourself, Punk was what he was, and he was going to have it no matter what. Page raised stock for himself.
100%.
And Lexus King is giving promos about doing everything he can to step out of his dad's shadow. Getting into that recently. So NXT's looking really good. And if there's anything you watch out of that deadline, Lola Vice versus Jada Parker in an NXT Underground match. You remember what they tried to do with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey? This was... It was so fucking awesome. It was the blood
horrible.
sport of women's wrestling. What?
Huh.
Yeah,
Rousey and Baszler.
The old one you're saying was horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
No, this was solid between Vice and Parker. If you get a chance, watch that. And Trick Williams retained against Ridge Holland. And I got to give you the credit, ODM. You said it. I can't wait and to hear what the sound of the boos are like the next time New Day comes out. They got Dirty Dom treatment on Raw. Couldn't even get a word out.
Couldn't cut a promo. Yeah.
Loved it.
Fantastic.
So this coming Saturday night is Saturday night's main event, which...
SATUR. No, sorry.
It's a... So, look at, man, you got Gunther versus Priest versus Finn Balor for the World Championship. The fact that they turned it into this triple threat match is almost making me think that there's a chance that someone's going to end up winning this match. All right, a new champion will be crowned in this match. The WWE Championship match is Cody Rhodes taking on Kevin Owens. Liv Morgan is defending against Io Sky. And they added Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn for the for a grudge match for the night. And it's either going to be Bayley or Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton or Meechin, depending on who wins this coming Friday on SmackDown. If I had to put money on it, I think the finals are Chelsea Green and Meechin. And I don't care who wins either way at this point, but if I had to choose one, I want Chelsea Green.
So, I think Meechin's going to win, and Tiffany Stratton's going to cash in right at the end and win the U.S. title from her.
Wow. Be a real wonky beginning to the U.S. championship, but I guess if you want
it would be.
It's a U.S. way.
But
we'll
here's the
just steal
thing.
it from you.
What else? They just keep teasing this. Like I wanted Stratton to cash in at War Games in the cage. I wanted that to happen. But, obviously they had bigger plans. But so Weezy and I were talking about it. I was like, you know what? I mean, they've kind of played this off before where it doesn't have to be the world title that you go after. So, Meechin would be the one to beat Stratton. So Meechin wins the title. Stratton gets her revenge and gets the title and to finally get that fucking briefcase off of her because I like Tiffy time. So, you know what I mean? Let's do something with it. Get that fucking briefcase. I do. She's a good wrestler.
I like Chelsea better.
Chelsea's all right, too. I know.
Well,
the video of whose gym was she in? Was it Sheamus's gym or something?
Sheamus.
Like that? Yeah. Oh, boy.
They didn't have air conditioning going that day.
He purposely made sure it wasn't working.
Pulled a Nacho Varga, went up and killed the air conditioning before anybody could get anything going. Got to be able to take that coat off.
Started rewatching that.
So I will say the match between Zayn and McIntyre wins. There's no way he doesn't. Sure. Outside of that, I'm just happy, man. We got Jesse Ventura back. We got Saturday night's main event. It's on NBC, 8 o'clock Eastern, Saturday night. Good shit, man. Feel like I'm a kid again. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Hey, let's bring some stuff to the table.
Just bring it, bitch! Oh, my God!
There is a channel on YouTube that somehow I just think when I'm starting to look for clips that I need for our show, you end up getting introduced to certain channels. One is called WWE Vault. VAULT. And they put out full-blown programs of the past. Maybe it's a Superstars episode. Maybe, some of them are just matches that happened like 3-4 years ago. But one of the things they put out was the Survivor Series Showdown 1993. Now, some of the ones I actually have seen from the years past generally are, let's say it's the Team Hulkamaniacs versus the $1 Million Corporation at Survivor Series. Well, a guy from each one of those teams is going to have a one-on-one match, and it'll just kind of, one of implications is just to get that spark going. This one, Survivor Series 93, was wonky as shit because first, it was supposed to be the All-Americans, which was Lex Luger, Steiner Brothers, and Tatanka, against the Foreign Fanatics, which would have been Yokozuna, Ludwig Borga, and the Quebecers. Well, one of the Quebecers got hurt, so we brought in Crush from Hawaii, because that's foreign, I guess. And then, Tatanka got injured. Let's bring in The Undertaker? Oh, Jerry Lawler got fired. It was supposed to be Brett and all the Hart brothers versus Jerry Lawler and his Knights, but Jerry got fired or I think it was some legal shit was going on. They had to separate themselves from it. Shawn Michaels, so it ends up being Shawn and the Knights, which is just random, right? And you're like, wow, I don't even know how this thing even sold anything, because like we're talking days before everything was getting replaced. And Todd Pettengill even says in this Survivor Series 93 Showdown, he says, and I have a feeling more is going to change at the pay-per-view. And I'm not lying. I'm pretty sure Macho Man somehow wiggles into one of the matches. I'm pretty fucking sure. But I had it on in the background, and Shawn Michaels goes to the Hart family house. Well, Brett can't be there because he's fighting IRS tonight at this Survivor Series Showdown. But a couple of days away from Thanksgiving Eve, Shawn went to the Hart family house. And it was an old man, or it was a man and a lady-ish, both wearing old man mask and old woman mask, where it's like the real big nose hanging down, like what you get for Halloween if you want to be an old person. And like, oh, I love my Brett. The funniest thing was Shawn comes in there and has his lackey with him. And I'm staring, I go, motherfucker, that's Bruce Pritchard. His lackey is wearing a cowboy hat and has a big Hulk Hogan type mustache, the Fu Manchu, right? And goes, and he starts talking as Dusty Rose. And he goes, let me tell you something, baby. This is the Hart family house. But he's dressed like a redneck. So I'm like, there are so many weird stabs being taken right now in this entire. It was bad. But one of the funniest things is Shawn is talking to quote unquote Martha Hart, and there's this giant Bret Hart poster on the wall, and then a trading card of Owen. And they go, I got to ask you, why don't you like Owen the way you guys like Bret? Which is awesome because at Survivor Series 93 is when that all began. Owen's the only one that got eliminated from the Survivor Series match. But Shawn was starting to put a little bit of hints in there, fucking with the family. But I was distracted because Bruce Hart is playing a redneck using a Dusty Rose voice. It's a lot to take in. So Survivor Series Showdown 93, if you have a moment and you want to watch a weird skit, this is the one.
All right. But I definitely want to see Bruce pretending to be Dusty.
Oh, it's fantastic. One last thing. I may have brought this up before, but I just recently was going through some old Saturday Night's Main Event because I wanted to get ready for this coming weekend. And I remember there was a time where Rugged Ronnie Garvin had to retire. Now, we've seen how, like, Kurt Hennig had to retire on Nitro, and he gets his job back and all that bullshit. But Rugged Ronnie Garvin lost a match and had to become a referee. And for well over a year and some change, he only was referee. He would be, like, if someone got in his face, he'd push back. But the whole thing was that he was now just a referee. And then he ends up getting the job back to face Greg the Hammer Valentine in a submission match at Royal Rumble. You got to do it with the right person, but it like someone's injured. Let's quote unquote injured. Hey man, I had a life-threatening injury and I can't wrestle anymore, but I want to be a part of the WWE and I'm going to be a referee or whatever it is, and then a year or two later they come back and keep their career going. It could be done again. I'm just saying I haven't seen it since Rugged Ronnie Garvin, and I think they could do it again. Just wanted to throw that concept out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. Typically, we just see it as just, all right, I can't wrestle anymore, or I'm just washed up, so I'll be a producer now. Right? It usually doesn't end with somebody coming back. You know, maybe we'll see it with all this.
I'm the Jason Jordan, or I'm the Jamie Noble. I got so injured I can't wrestle anymore, but I want to be something a part of this company. But it's kayfabe the whole fucking time. You were never injured. It's just something to do, but you're still in the company. I just think it would be a great idea, man, because the day that referee comes back out of retirement and gets into the ring, people are going to love it. Little things.
There you go. So, have we talked about this? Is this common knowledge, or is this just something I spaced out about? Or I heard something on the radio today, and it made me go, huh, why? Like, it was like a Mandela effect. I couldn't remember if I forgot or if I forgot if I remembered. Gorilla Monsoon is from Rochester.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just, a dumb moment. Like I said, I don't remember if I forgot or if I forgot if I remembered. So, yeah, just throwing that out 100%.
There. Him and China.
There you go. Hometown boy.
Him and China are the two I'll always mainly remember, but then, and then Luke Harper. Brother Lee.
Yeah, well, obviously, Luke Harper, yeah. And then you had, what the fuck is his name? IRS from Syracuse. Or went to Syracuse, at least. I think he's from Western New York.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, if we're playing that game, Glenn Jacobs actually went to a school in New York as well for college.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Good geography lesson.
Actually, here's another one for you. Tatanka came by, and I think he peed in one of the toilets in New York once.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Ahead,
Moving on to my actual point here. I was at Wheezy's one night. He had music going, and I don't know if I said it or if he said it. Again, don't remember. But basically, there was a song playing, and one of us was like, dude, if you were a wrestler...
Blame it on the rain! Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the obvious one. No, but it's called, the song's called Stillborn. It's by Black Label Society, and it features Ozzy Osbourne. Because it's funny, because I was like, man, this almost sounds like Black Sabbath. And then I heard Ozzy, and I'm like, oh, well, there you go. Sounded like good intro music for Wheezy, so check it out. Stillborn by Black Label Society. Good tune.
Good. It's got to be better than the last entrance music we had for Wheezy. Because he was really, really new to wrestling, and I think you made like an intro music for him one time.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, who's that guy?
Yeah, Man Bun, fucking Man Bun. No, it was Jericho, and he kept going, fucking man. He wouldn't let it go either. I'd be like, that's Chris Jericho. Do you remember fucking Man Bun? All right, well, that's not the match we're going to, well, fucking Man Bun. It's like...
Yeah. So this new one's a good idea, because he's a little more seasoned now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's calling shit left and right, man. We should start adding his shit to the doc.
I like that. Well, man, I got to be honest with you. I knew it was happening. I knew it was going to happen, the turn. But I'm not going to lie. It wasn't until watching the Raw from Monday Night Wars that made me realize, yeah, I fell in love with Stephanie McMahon back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That was the night everything changed.
Was. I will no longer be pooped on, Daddy. All right, let's go to the wars. Monday Night Wars!
I was sacrificed, all right, at my father's expense, simply so you could screw Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's all coming back to Vince now.
But you know what, Daddy? Like I said a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, what goes around, comes around. You hurt me. And what's the best way that I could hurt you back? By marrying the man that you hate the most. My husband, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Wow. I can't believe this.
Oh, and by the way, Dad, just so you know, Triple H really turns me on.
It's the very first ever Armageddon. The first time that WWE has used this this pay-per-view name. Before we get there, I'll tell you a little bit about what happened on SmackDown. Test completely himself calls off the engagement. Goes to Stephanie and says, we both need time. Even though she just told him that last week. But the worst fake crying I think I've ever seen in my life. He just put his head into his hands and was like, oh God. And she's like, well, we had fun doing this thing, right? You know? And he goes in for one more, like, goodbye kiss. They both go for the kiss. And X-Pac chimes in. He just pops in out of nowhere into the room. He goes, hey, man, you trying to kiss my friend's wife? Again, the jokes even from last week are carrying over. I love it. It's a shame it doesn't go on that much longer because where things go soon. But the joke's been pretty good. But Al Snow and Mick Foley had a match. It wasn't a hardcore match, but pretty much turned hardcore. Foley didn't want to fight Snow and took a shitload of a beating until Al Snow finally was coming at him with the right move outside. I think it was like a chair. He counters, starts to get a fight back into him, but Foley has the opportunity to hit Al Snow with a chair, hesitates, doesn't, and Al Snow gives him a low blow, and the ref disqualifies him. So that was, it's a waste. They could have done so much better between those two.
Right.
Triple H and Vince had a promo with each other heading in toward, it was a contract signing for their match heading into Armageddon this Sunday night, and Shane McMahon ends up going through a table, but also Triple H had to deal with like 30 different Vince McMahon refs, like a bunch of guys wearing those Vince masks, like Vince was wearing, a bunch of them just to distract him, so the right one, who basically you knew exactly who it was by looking at the stature of his body, that was clearly Vince. Everybody else was just a local indie wrestler. That was SmackDown. Now let's talk about Armageddon 1999. One last thing. I wasn't there, but I was watching this live. I do remember watching this. This was on your scramble box. This was where we saw 10 seconds of wrestling, squiggle vision, and then back again. It was like watching and listening to Armageddon on the radio at my buddy's house.
They do mention it on Raw. And it's funny, they don't mention anything about restitution. Like, if you missed it due to the technical problems, the replay will be on Tuesday or something like that, so. All right.
I will say that I do remember, I'll just get it out of the way now, the very end of the pay-per-view was so squiggled up. We're like, what's happening? What the fuck? What? They're like, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can I believe what? Use your words. Use your words.
Can't rely on the picture. It's December 12th, 1999, Armageddon. It's funny, if you look this up on the Peacock, there's a picture of Undertaker on the thumbnail. Don't know why.
Yep.
He wasn't there.
I think he may have been originally planned for it, and back then, once they made the posters or certain things, I think they were like, fuck it, we're running with it.
Yeah, certainly could be. So let's see here. It opens up, Fort Lauderdale, if I didn't say that already. It opens up with a tag team battle royale. The winner's going to face the tag champs at Royal Rumble. It's the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus the Headbangers versus the Hardys versus Mean Street Posse versus the Acolytes versus Too Cool versus Sexual Chocolate and Godfather. Once a member of a team is eliminated, that whole team is eliminated. I saw 2 signs added to the dock. Big Show has big boobs. And Triple H fears turkey jizz.
What the I don't even know what that means.
Me neither, but I saw it, and I had to write it down.
What does that kid into?
I don't know.
Mom, Pa on the farm say if you get the turkey jizz on you, you're the one that's got it. All right, never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Anyway,
you're the one that's
it comes down to the Hardys.
Sis.
Jesus fucking Christ, with turkey jizz, really? The Hardys and the Acolytes are the last two teams.
Gobble.
It's Matt and Bradshaw hit the floor at the same time, so the ref doesn't know what to do and says, all right, the match is going to continue, and the Acolytes win. Next, you get Lillian Garcia backstage with Kurt Angle. Angle brings up still being undefeated, even though Blackman lost them a tag match on SmackDown. And he's talking about getting funny responses from the fans, but he's pretty sure the Florida fans are going to appreciate a true American hero. So we get Kurt Angle versus Blackman next. Angle saves this match because Blackman sucks. The crowd's chanting
Just
boring
so sad.
still.
This is like Angle's 7th match, I think, in total between Raw, SmackDown, and maybe practice. And he's carrying the match against Steve Blackman, who's been here for now a year and a half.
Yeah. I think Angle at this point has been wrestling for like a year, like on the indies and stuff, and like developmental and stuff. I think he's been at it for a while.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Then Angle sucks, and then Angle wins, and Blackman attacks him post-match. Hooray. We see BB in the locker room getting changed behind one of those, like, dressing boxes kind of thing, but you can still see her silhouette.
Always white, so you can see the dark silhouette on the other side of it.
Absolutely. So let's see. On Heat, we see that Moolah shoved
We just went up a channel on the Squiggle Vision.
Exactly, right? Yeah, it's pretty much the one right next door. Right next door. On
Channel
Heat,
up.
on Heat, Moolah shoved Ivory into a pool. Michael Cole walks into BB's locker room, is distracted by her changing. She asks him to zip up her dress. He does, and he's like, I gotta go. He ran to the bathroom after that.
I ruined your roommate's bathrobe.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That didn't take long.
I'll raise the AIDS, baby.
Yeah.
Fuck it, it's my birthday. I can say whatever I want.
I guess so. We're just going to let it. We're going to run with it. We get an evening gown match in a pool for the women's title. Because Attitude Era. And May and Moolah are the special refs, and they're both in evening gowns. Ew. This was as much of a shit show as you thought it would be. It's Miss Kitty versus Jacqueline versus BB versus Ivory. We get Let's Go Puppies chant. Jacqueline gets disrobed almost immediately. She's out. BB gets disrobed. She's out next. Ivory is trying to pull BB's bra off. I don't know if the plan was for her to pull her bra off, but she couldn't get it, to the point where commentaries making jokes like, yeah, man, you guys know those things aren't the easiest thing to take off all the time.
Great spin. I thought it was great.
And, Miss Kitty wins. And she gets on the mic and
funny? If you're facing me, not you,
okay,
no problem. But if I'm going head on to the back, where for some reason
where you can
I'm
actually see
idiot.
the thing and actually like,
Right. All my life, I'm like, hang on, face me.
Yeah, you just never mind. I'm not going to go there. Miss Kitty gets on the mic and she says, I know you all came here to see me get naked, and I'm not going to disappoint you. But just a heads up, they made me wear underwear. And she strips down to her bra and panties and jumps in the pool, and then Slaughter comes out to cover her with a towel. May gets on the...
Wait. The peacock version censored some shit.
Really?
She took the top off.
Really?
She takes the top off, but they were able to do a quick blurry censor over it in enough time, and then Slaughter gets that jacket there. I'm talking like 1 second of tit, and then Slaughter puts the jacket on. But I was curious how they were going to approach this on the peacock, because...
Well, there you go.
Truth be told, I looked in the mirror right after, and I was like, wow, I have bigger boobs than Miss Kitty.
Yes. And up top, 2 bee stings. Then May gets... Yeah, it's from a Kanye song. That's not mine.
I know that I said nice as in I got the Jay-Z album, motherfucker.
All right, damn. May gets on the mic, but the mic's not working, thank God. And then she strips down. And naturally, JR, with his natural response, put the women and children to bed. And then Slaughter's out with the towel again, thank God.
It should have been,
Put the little boys to bed.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to see that. Kevin Kelly is with Rikishi Fatu. And that's how they're addressing him at this moment. And here's the best part. They have the little chyron up, that shows their name. And Fatu is spelled Phatu.
They were actually trying to give that a shot for a while.
Yeah, well, that didn't work.
It wasn't a misspell.
Oh,
that
I'm sure
was
it
a
wasn't.
try. They were working with it.
Yeah.
Then it became Fat You.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you an idea as how it was spelled.
He's tagging with Viscera against the Hollies tonight. And we haven't heard Rikishi talk at this point. So his first words are, "Hickory dickory dock, the Rikishi finally talks." It's better than Suffering Succotash, I guess.
I wish he went with the Andrew Dice Clay version.
Yeah, that probably would have been. I mean, it was Attitude Era. He probably could have gotten away with it, and it was pay-per-view.
The clock
So we get
struck 2. I drop. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Hollies versus Rikishi and Viscera. Viscera goes for a spin kick on Hardcore, but he dodges it. The kick hits Rikishi. Hardcore gets the pin. Rikishi goes after Viscera post-match. We see Lillian Garcia with the big Valboski, who's got a shot at the European title tonight. He starts speaking Spanish to Garcia, and they go fuck. Next.
That's a wasted episode name.
I mean, yeah, I know.
And they go fuck.
And they go fuck. D-Lo versus Val Venus versus Bulldog with Mean Street Posse for the European title. Mean Street Posse is immediately sent to the back. Bulldog pulls the ref out at the 2 count. D-Lo puts Val Venus' leg on the rope during a pin. D-Lo hits a frog splash, but Val Venus hits a money shot on D-Lo, wins the European title. Look at Val Venus go. Next, you get Michael Cole with X-Pac. On Heat, Kane challenged X-Pac to a cage match tonight. X-Pac had a few demands. Kane can only win, by pinfall. But X-Pac, he can win by pinfall or climbing out. And he says, "Tell your old lady to stop calling my hotel room at all hours of the night." So we get Kane versus X-Pac in a steel cage match, just impromptu, just set up on Heat an hour ago. X-Pac confronts Tori after locking the cage door. Kane climbs out of the cage to start the beat down. X-Pac hits Kane with the ring bell. They climb back into the cage. Outlaws come out. They cut the chain to the door. They handcuff Kane to the cage. He'd shot with the chair twice. Tori comes in to stop X-Pac from climbing out of the cage. X-Pac spits in her face and hits the X-Factor on her. X-Pac goes for a third chair
shot. He did the same
shot.
move in One Night in China.
Yep, there. You got to spit on that thing. Kane, Jesus fucking Christ. We got X-Pac sucks chance. I guess
yes, I got you.
Already. Kane breaks the handcuffs, goes to the floor, puts X-Pac on his shoulders, so X-Pac's feet never hit the ground, gets him back in the ring. Kane hits a clothesline from the top of the cage. Tombstone. Kane wins. There you go. Next, you get Jericho versus China for the IC title. Jericho wins with the walls. There's really not much else to say. He gets interviewed by Cole post-match. China comes in and says, "Jericho, you were the better wrestler this time." Offers a handshake. Jericho's still kind of like weary, and China shakes his hand and walks off. Even commentary was confused.
It was weird.
It was very weird. We get Rock and Sock versus the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles. We get a ref bump because wrestling. Al Snow comes in, hits Mankind in the heat with Heed. Rock pulls the ref out at 2 count. Rock takes out Al Snow. Mr. S hits Mankind with the ring bell while the Rock is fighting Snow on the ramp. Mankind kicks out at 2. Al Snow comes back. It's a DQ. Rock hits a people's elbow on him. Let's see. Big Show versus Boss Man with Prince Albert for the world title. Boss Man cuts a promo on Show's Dead Daddy and Real Daddy. Says could be any one of these stinking morons in the arena. Show chokeslams Albert through the Spanish announce desk. Big Show does a nip up. That was pretty fucking impressive. Even commentary was freaking out. They're like, holy shit. And Lawler says, "Big Shows don't nip up, JR." Just a weird line. Big Show retains.
I'm not gonna lie, the intro package of the main event, or not main event, this match made me laugh just because
dragging a coffin away,
funeral, that, and then you realize you just told everybody he's a bastard. Like it just the whole thing. I'm like, this was a feud. Like, just watching it is just a promo package that they made before it. I go, this is what I've been watching the last month and a half.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So we get Triple H versus Vince McMahon in a no-holds-barred, falls count anywhere match as your main event. Stephanie's at ringside. Triple H bought her a ticket. Triple H has the sledgehammer with him. They fight in the crowd. Mankind at one point brings a shopping cart full of weapons for Vince. Vince was hitting great shots to Triple H's head and face with the garbage can lid. I'm just going to list all the things that came into play. A garbage can, a crutch, a street sign, a chain, a stick, a sandbag, a 2x4, a lead pipe, a wrench, and a machine gun barrel.
Saturday night.
Anyway.
I will say, honestly, and just to add to this, Vince gets really good color in this match.
He does. Yes. Yeah, to the point where you can see, he has it bandaged up on Raw, but, I mean, it peeks through. You can see that shit. They end up in the parking garage. Triple H disappears, but it's because he's going to get a car. He tries to run Vince down. Vince is able to dodge it. They end up back into the arena. They climb up the scaffolding. Vince takes a fall, just like Shane will in the near future. This is when he gets his color. Triple H gets on the mic, walks up to Steph, and says, "Tell me how it feels, baby, watching your daddy get his ass kicked in front of the world. Daddy, your daddy's standing right here." Holds Vince's bloody head right in front of Stephanie's face. And this is where things start to trip up here. Not trip up, but pick up, I should say. Triple H gets the sledgehammer. Vince low blows him, though. Hits a good shot with the lead pipe. Vince gets the head sledgehammer. Triple H is in the corner. He rears back, and Stephanie runs in and says, No, I want to do it. And she does like the shitty thing that wrestlers do a lot, where she has to mime that she's going to hit him with, right, just in case you can't fucking figure out what's going on by watching the match.
And I'm actually going to do and or describe what she's doing. She's saying to Vince, she goes, "I want to take the sledgehammer and hit him." Mm-hmm. And she's actually miming from the sledgehammer being to her shoulder down in front of Triple H. Like, that's what he means by miming, but also saying it. She's saying to Vince, "I want to do it. This is me. I want to do it." And it's so obvious at this point now, looking back at it.
Right.
Either squiggle vision or just being dumb at that point. We weren't expecting it to happen. But in the midst of this, is that when does Triple H get a low blow on Vince, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes. But the thing is, she rears up like she's going to do it, but then she turns to look back at Vince, and Triple H takes the sledgehammer and hits a gut shot to Vince.
The gut shot, there it is.
Yeah. And then he does like the head shot, not like the full swing, like where he puts his hand over the sledgehammer, and runs it into his head. He does that. And he gets a 3 count with 1 foot on Vince's chest. And then, go ahead.
I just have to say, it's funny, like 2008, 2009, around that time. It's funny, like, you'd be like, "Motherfucker, why you're putting your hand over it? We can clearly see you're putting your hand over the top of the sledgehammer and hitting them." And now my age and myself today, but how old I am, I'm like, what is supposed to do? Hit him with a real fucking hammer? Like,
exactly.
Of course you got to put the hand over it. But I think I hate that he always has the hand over it so visibly.
Right.
It's like, you're going to break your hand doing it, but
yes, exactly.
But it wasn't this version on this.
Right. So then Triple H rears back like he's going to cave in Stephanie's skull with the sledgehammer. She turns around. Triple H drops the sledgehammer. Stephanie smiles, and they hug. Yep. Holds up Triple H's arm, that dirty bitch, and JR closes the pay-per-view with, "Why, Stephanie? Why?"
And she's given that, smile.
Yeah.
You see my nose, see my teeth. I can't tell if I'm either getting ready to sneeze or smile or laugh or poo.
Pretty gross.
But not until we get to Raw, because you know what she does? She met a crimper for her hair.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
I was like, ho, ho, ho.
What a game changer.
Ho, ho, ho.
Mm-hmm.
Ho.
Pimp. So Raw is in Tampa. Triple H and Stephanie arrive to the arena. We see Shane lurking about, waiting for Vince. But like as you mentioned, Stephanie went to town with the crimper on her hair, and she's wearing some leather pants. And a thing to notice, too, is kind of a little bit of foreshadowing. Stephanie came out to the main event at Armageddon in like a leather blazer. It was very nice looking, something that an affluent woman like her, daughter of a billionaire, would wear, right?
I was gonna say she had like what, like jeans or leather pants on, leather jacket, a shirt, very flat hair, and that's why like you have to notice with the crimping. It's like,
oh yeah,
oh shit, like you're ready to be a go-go dancer or stripping tonight, one or the other,
or S that D, one or the other.
It's funny because I'll never forget. Marty had the best fucking line. I think it was WrestleMania 33 when she rode on the back of the motorcycle with Triple H in the ring. He goes, it looks like he just picked her up from her finishing her Tuesday afternoon shift at the strip club.
He ain't lying.
But I'm a sucker for that kind of Stephanie, so whatever. Anyway.
All right. Well, Jericho comes to the ring, cuts a promo on winning the title. X-Pac comes up to the ramp, says, "Nut up or shut up, boy. Put your title on the line." He has to use his "your ass is grass and I'm going to smoke it" line. Chyna and Miss Kitty come to the ramp just before the bell. Jericho locks on the walls, and Chyna comes to the ring and takes out the ref as X-Pac is tapping out. And it kind of just ends there. Sure.
It wasn't the main focus of the night.
Yeah. Triple H and Steph run into Shane outside the arena. Shane just runs Stephanie down. Triple H asks for a hug. We come back from break. Shane's still waiting. Godfather versus Mark Henry is coming up, but Godfather gets to the ring, and before Mark Henry comes out, we see GTV's back. It's on the Tron. And Mark Henry's on video, and as soon as I saw Mark Henry, I go, oh dear God, it's happening already. And Henry's laying in bed there, and he says, "That's the most erotic, incredible experience I ever had." And he is laying next to Mae Young, who's smoking a cigar. And JR says, "Good God!" Lillian Garcia's in the ring, because she's, the ring announcer, and she's waiting for Mark Henry, and you can see her just laughing her ass off. It is fucking hilarious. During the match, Mae Young runs down to the apron. The distraction allows Henry to get a roll-up.
You know what? Give him a hand for that segment.
Ew. Well, hands aside, we see a limo arrive. It's Vince. Vince has a sledgehammer. Shane wants him to chill. He's trying to get him to calm down. He says, "Bitch, be cool." He ends up at DX's locker room. Vince beats down the door with the sledgehammer, but nobody's there. Shane's just trying to stop him. Vince heads to the ring, and Shane says, "Hey, just remember, she's still your daughter." Vince comes out to the ring, and I love this because something from recent memory was shown here, a clip that was used. Vince gets to the ring and says, "Come on out, you coward! You rapist!" I'd like to once again say...
How many times do you think you practiced that in the mirror?
I didn't know. There's so much wrong with that statement. I don't even want to try to unpack it. There is just so much wrong. Triple H's music comes out, but it's Steph. And she asks Vince, "You want to bash Triple H's brains in? You want to bash mine in? Do it. It's the only way you're going to get to Triple H. Like it or not, we're married." Stephanie cuts a promo about it always being about what he wants, which is fucking hilarious. Because after watching the documentary, Vince was like, "Yeah, I wanted Stephanie to get together with Triple H." So he basically just booked it and manifested it.
But bringing up you had me marry the Undertaker to have your bitter rival with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
I mean, all the points she was making was perfect to it.
Yep.
I don't know. I couldn't get past the crimped hair and the attitude. I was just like, yeah, fuck your dad. You're right.
Well, whatever you say. She says, "Whatever. Triple H really turns me on." So Triple H comes to the top of the ramp. Steph joins him. Triple H says, "Hey, one mistake I made last night was leaving you laying there so you couldn't see me seal the deal, or I'm going to seal it now with a kiss." And they kiss. There you go. We see Vince in the back with Shane. Vince is just berating the limo driver. He wants to leave, and as the limo pulls away, Triple H and Stephanie wave goodbye, and they say, "Well, who's going to run the family business now? Huh? I guess we are." Next, you get the Rock and Sock Connection versus the Dudleys. Rock cuts his opening promo. He shouts out Wade Boggs, who's there, and says, Wade, I hear your favorite food is poultry. I want you to go home. I want you to select a chicken. I want you to shine it up real nice. And, yeah, there you go. Dudley's get to the ring. Rock asks, who are you two Rudy Poos? And Dudley starts to answer, and The Rock says, it doesn't matter.
That one made me laugh because I knew obviously how he was setting up. He goes, we're the and as soon as he cut him off, I fucking laughed so hard. It was a good one.
It was. Bubba brings in a chair. Rock hits a lariat. Ref calls Rock and Sock winners by DQ. Triple H's music hits. He comes out and says, well, this was a no DQ match. But why the fuck did the bell ring? Rock calls Steph a tramp. Dudley's attack Rock and Mankind. It restarts. It goes. This match went way too fucking long. Bubba pulls the ref out at a 2-count clock. Some Triple H's music hits again because Attitude Era. A ref in a Vince mask heads to the ring at the direction of Triple H and Stephanie. The ref rolls Devon on top of Mankind and counts 3. It's Al Snow. Then the Dudleys come back in. The Rock hits a rock bottom on Bubba. The original ref comes to and counts 3. So Rock and Sock won by DQ, but it was no DQ. We get a second ref, and the ref counts Devon as the winner, and then the original ref comes in and counts the Rock as the winner. So take your pick.
Well, you have to remember something. You said because of Attitude Era. No, this is now about to be the McMahon-Helmsley era. The McMahon-Helmsley regime, as they like to call it. This is Raw over the next couple of weeks, or at least a couple of months, is going to be them fucking everything up left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
We're there. We're
at
there.
Least they're going to blatantly do it and say they're doing it, as where Vince Russo's just doing it but trying to produce something good.
That's a whole different story altogether. We'll get there when we get there. We see Triple H and Steph in their locker room. X-Pac comes in wearing a wetsuit, goggles, and a snorkel, makes a morning wood joke. And then JR freaks out about what's going to happen next because they didn't really clarify it during this segment. Apparently, Triple H booked Miss Kitty to defend the title in a pudding match. Yes, you heard me. A pudding match. I'll get to that in a second. Next, the Mean Street Posse walk into Steph and Triple H's locker room, and Steph runs them down. You know, you guys are always jerks to me, especially you, Joey Ab, so you know what? Tonight you're taking on the Acolytes. So we get Miss Kitty versus... It's a pudding match because it's a pool. It's the same pool they used for Armageddon. It's just this time it has pudding in it. Kitty tells Lillian Garcia she's now to be called the Cat. I wonder what Ernest Miller has to say about it. Haven't seen him in a while. Stephanie's in the back talking with Tori and says, you know what?
Oh, my God, I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. Until you just said it right now, it never occurred to me that she called herself the Cat while the Cat was over there.
Mm-hmm.
It never, ever, even back then, it didn't even occur to me. I just knew her as Miss Kitty, and I knew she ended up calling herself the Cat, but I forgot all about that Ernest is already going at the same time. Good call. Wow,
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, you got to be good at something, you know?
Every now and then.
She tells Tori, you're going to be facing Miss Kitty in the pudding match, and if you don't, I'm going to make it a rough night for Kane. She's like, well, I don't even have anything to wear. She's like, just go out in your bra and panties, because Attitude Era. X-Pac at one point comes out. Tori grabs him, pulls him into the pudding. The Cat wins. Kane comes out, choke slams X-Pac into the pool, but also on the side of the pool and collapses it. It looked kind of brutal. The Outlaws come out. Garcia announces the winner is Miss Kitty, and Miss Kitty tells her, I told you I'm the Cat. And she shoves Lillian Garcia into the pudding pit. Phrasing.
The whole segment was off-putting.
It was. Puddin'. Next. It's because you're wearing that Office shirt, man. The Office references just keep coming out.
It is my birthday.
Next, you get Mean Street Posse versus the Acolytes. Fucking one of the Acolytes. Again, when I say this, I'm not being a mark. I know the chairs are gimmicked, okay? But it's still impressive sometimes. I think it was Bradshaw hit a fucking mean chair shot to Pete Gas's head. The chair just bent. And here's the best part. JR says that's a neurologist's nightmare.
Foreshadowing.
Or Nancy's nightmare. The match just ends with... Too soon?
No, I think it actually just you got in right around the right time.
Match just ends. No bell, no winner. Acolytes just beat the shit out of them. The Outlaws are with Steph and Triple H. Triple H mentions there's going to be a cage match, so let's go to that. It's the Hardys versus Edge and Christian in a cage match. It's a spot fest. Christian and Matt Hardy hit the floor at the same time, same thing they did at Armageddon. Announce the match will have to continue. Jeff climbs down the cage. Christian gets him in the electric chair, gives Edge a chance to escape and win. There you go. Kane is with Tori, who is covered up in towels because she's covered in pudding and just in her bra and panties, and it's fucking mid-December. So they're outside naturally. And Triple H tells Kane he's in a triple threat match right now. And it's the Outlaws versus Kane in a triple threat match, right? The best part of this, the numbers are too much for this. Road Dogg gets the pin eventually. It's like a double pin. But anyway, when Kane comes out, production fucked up. Kevin Dunn's teeth must have hit the control board because...
Jesus Christ. His teeth. It
like
almost
that?
got by me. All right. Go ahead. I'm here. Sorry. I just wasn't ready for that one.
I'm not going to lie. I stole that from Cornette. He used to say that shit all the time. So when they play his video on the Tron, they actually play like the color test that comes up, you know, and then like the little thing like Kane intro video .mp4. Like they put like the whole lead up. They didn't start it at the right spot. It was fucking hilarious. Oh my god. So let's see. Steph says, you know what? We haven't seen the world title, so how about we book Big Show versus Albert and Bossman in a handicap match for the title? So why not? We see that odd logo that showed up on the Tron last week. It's there again. Big Show wins.
Do you want to describe what the odd logo is?
Oh, God, I don't even fucking remember what it looks like. It almost looks like an infinity logo, kind of. So not an infinity like the car, you know, like the never-ending circle, you know, not circle, but it looks like an 8 on its side, basically. Unless I'm completely misremembering it. I don't know. It's weird.
You're right.
All right. Now Steph says...
Can I tell you something?
Sure. I'm sure you're going to anyway.
You fuck. This is going to lead to a personal favorite debut.
Of us together, or you specifically, or the world in
Well, I
general?
didn't debut anywhere. No, I meant this is one of my favorite debuts.
One of your favorites.
That's what this is leading to. This infinity symbol on its side.
God, I'm trying to think of who it is. All right, well, don't
And when
spoil
you
it for
see
me.
it and you figure when it does happen, you're going to be like, "Oh, motherfucker, I should have saw that before." But it's fine.
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
Elementary,
my dear Watson. Brilliant. Now Stephanie's saying the tag title should be defended, and the Outlaws are like, no, we already wrestled. And Triple H says, if she says you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And then she says your opponents are going to be Triple H and Test. So Lawler says, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You never know what's going through those female minds. JR says,
There's a Uranus joke in there somewhere, though I can't put my finger on it. Not that I'd want to.
a fingering an asshole joke from JR. I love it.
My mom was watching. Well, she's dead.
the Outlaws just beat the
God
piss
bless
out
her
of
soul.
Test.
She's the one that used to finger my ass.
This is just a giant ruse to beat Test's ass. Stephanie slaps Test in the face. We get a chair shot to the heat. X-Pac comes in. Steph does the DX pose, and good night, folks. That's it for Raw.
And Stephanie is now in second or third place of worst all-time DX chop.
It wasn't too bad.
Come on, you watched the show that much and you still slammed your arms down like Mike Tyson did.
Nobody beats Tyson. Nobody.
Jake Paul did. Boom.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Fake. Nitros emanating from New Orleans.
Robin Givens beat him, technically.
There you go. There you go. And he was the one who went to jail. It's the go-home show for Starrcade. The show opens with Benoit and Jeff Jarrett brawling. And then we get our intro splash at the beginning of the show. Refreshing. Next, you get the what the fuck moment of the night. It is the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea with Paisley. And then we get Maestro and Symphony lowered from the roof on a platform. They fight. Artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea wins. Jeff Jarrett runs in with 2 guitars, and then both men eat a heat shot. He calls out Benoit and says he wants a bunkhouse brawl match. We see Evan Courageous for flirting with Spice. Medusa catches them and freaks out. Bret Hart comes to the ring. Apparently he and Goldberg won the tag titles on Thunder. I say Thunder, but from what I saw, they won it on December 7th, which was the day after Nitro. So maybe that's when they taped Thunder. I don't know.
Yep.
There you go. So yeah, so Bret Hart is now world champ and half of the tag titles, tag champs. He cuts a promo on Goldberg.
Did you see the Bret Hart put out a nice Christmas, hello to everybody? Happy holidays, everybody, except for Bill Goldberg.
No, I did not catch that. Is
Failed
this where?
joke. Boo.
I was
I'll
going to say, is this where the crickets
I'll boo
bumper
myself
goes?
out of here for the rest of the wars.
Boo. Goldberg's music comes out. He cuts a return promo. You're next. Wolfpack music hits. Just a quick side note here. Hall just returned, sometime in the last month? Somewhere around there, about 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Well, maybe ago? Like a little more, because him and Nash were in the seats quite a bit.
That's right. So let's say 2 months. Just before that, it's when he was showing, he did a few ECW shows and he came out to Ready or Not.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a Nitro. They're not going to show it on the Peacock. They haven't done it yet, but there is a Nitro or two where they actually came out to it as well, and I love it.
Yeah, and when I was looking this up real quick just to kind of get the timing right, apparently they did it at house shows a lot.
Gonna find you.
Yep.
And me. Oh God,
so good.
What a jam.
Mm-hmm. That whole album's a banger. Anyway, the Outsiders want a shot at the tag titles. Hart agrees. Jeans with Medusa staring at her tits. And Medusa says, I know you love my 2 big, beautiful blue eyes, but Spice had no business talking to Evan, and I'm going to wrestle her tonight. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to wrestle her tonight. Piper arrives to the arena in a ref shirt, just starts ranting about it. Okay, Grandpa. Terry Taylor's with Luger, says, hey, man, you're in a tag team match against DDP and Sting tonight, and you're tagging with David Flair. Luger goes, ratings, huh? Gift shows up for David Flair. David Flair just yells at the delivery guy. We get Medusa versus Spice next. Evan Courageous comes into the ring to settle the dispute. Medusa tells him to hit her. Remember, this is WCW. We don't hit women. Spice runs Medusa into Evan in the corner and gets a 3 count, and then Medusa hits the most stagiest German suplex to Evan Courageous, who just completely no-sells it. Next, you get creative.
I will try. I have to chime in here.
Oh, sure.
For 1 second. Our
time's up.
Communication between each other today kind of took a weird turn when it came to the technological advances. So we can't see each other anymore. If you don't hear me say anything, it's because, dear God, it's shitty enough. I don't need to add any commentary to it.
Right. Yeah, no, the whole point is just try to get a laugh out of this where we can here. So, and then you're not going to get...
When you tell me something that was funny on Nitro, I'll laugh. Keep going.
Go. That's about all we can do. Creative Control, Russo, Hennig, Shane, and La Parka are all in the office. Russo asks Shane if the remote control is in place for the next match. Bertha Faye shows up, and Russo says, hey, you need an agent. And Shane says, go get Piper. He tells Shane to go get Piper. Gene's in the ring with Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan's going to get 3 mystery partners to face Revolution at Starrcade. If Duggan wins, Revolutions are going to perform his janitorial duties. He cuts a pro-American promo. The lights go out. We see a strobe light. Lights come back up. Duggan is down. That's the remote that Russo was talking about. Hooray. Next, Piper is with Russo and Bunch. He's reffing a match between Hennig and Buff. Russo says, consider it a test. And Piper's like, I got final say. So we get Hennig versus Buff. Piper gives the rules. He says he's not going to DQ anybody. Buzzkill shows up. He has a sign that says, save the baby seals. Piper gives Hennig crap all match. Buff gets the pin on a fast count, and Creative Control are watching from the top of the ramp. Luger, who's been looking for David Flair this whole time, finally figured out, wait, he probably has a dressing room. Let me just go there. So he does. And he's listening it, and he can hear David like singing or giggling. Yeah, it gets better. So
a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Next, you get Jeff Jarrett versus Benoit in a bunkhouse match. This is not your traditional bunkhouse match. It's just a match where you can bring anything you want to use. Dustin comes in.
It's an DQ match, but we call it a bunkhouse.
Right. Dustin comes in. The ref stops him from doing the Shattered Dreams on Jeff Jarrett. He sets it up on the ref. Jeff Jarrett hits a guitar shot to Dustin's head. Benoit gets to the top of the ladder. This whole sequence did not go well. Benoit was getting to the top of the ladder, and he was having a hard time getting his footing. The spot was supposed to be that Dustin kind of got shoved into the ladder, knocking Benoit off. But Dustin basically just walked into the ladder. And, like, Benoit didn't have his footing, so he kind of just dropped straight down to the mat. He pulled an Owen.
Jesus.
It looked rough.
I think that concussion right there was Dustin's fault. Bam, Dustin killed Nancy.
Maybe it was him and Sullivan together.
No, it was really bad. All jokes aside, it was really bad. How even for him, because he's the one that called people out in AEW for throwing shitty fake punches, and then right here you're like, oh, I'm gonna walk into a ladder. Now it was bad.
It was very bad. Jeff Jarrett gets the pin. Luger's in David Flair's locker room trying to talk about strategy for tonight, and David is just rocking back and forth with a headless teddy bear, giggling.
He's thinking about Reed and Charlotte, Charlotte Reed.
You're just not going to let that one go, are you?
I can't let science go.
Yeah. A Porsche arrives to the arena. We'll get back to that. Piper's with Russo. Piper has a bat, and Russo says, I hate you. This is a war you'll never win. La Parker comes in with the chair. Piper blocks it, but Hennig ends up taking Piper out. Next, you get Tank Abbott. Remember him versus Meng. It's a double count out. They fight off the crowd boos. Anyway, in the Porsche, it's revealed that it's Chris Champagne Canyon. He's gone Hollywood. He's got a couple strippers with him, and he's got his manager, Mr. Biggs. Piper apparently left creative or the powers that be office, and then he goes back and he sees a fire extinguisher, and he's going to use it to break in, and the cops see him and say, all right, old man, let's go back to the home. We see Meng and Abbott are still fighting in the back. Next, you get Revolution versus Harlem Heat. Midnight shows up. Leg drops Malenko, takes out Asia. Revolution ends up winning. Hooray. Tenay's with Luger and David. David freaks out on Tenay. Luger filed an injunction saying that Liz can only work for Luger. Piper comes in freaking out and cuts a promo on Hennig. Bertha Face stops Mr. Biggs. I want you to be my agent. Chavo's lurking behind the equipment case comes out and tries to sell her dancewear. Meng and Tank Abbott are still fighting. And then Paul Orndorff shows up. Looking like Howie Long. And a PA says, hey, powers that be want to talk to you. Okay.
I was like, what year is this? That
I know, right?
Just randomly shows up on a Nitro in 1999 just because.
Just because. Bertha Faye ends up joining the Nitro Girls.
Something like a little bit of meat on the bone.
Listen. Finley is still training knobs in the woods. Smiley's in football gear. He walks into the block, which uses some weird camera effect for reasons. Smiley's screaming. Mang and Abbott are still fighting. They end up in the block, and Flynn and Abbott end up fighting. Okay. Orendorff is with Russo. They bring up that he's working at the power plant training wrestlers, and he trained midnight. Oof. Russo fires him and then says, "You're facing creative control tonight," because Russo. Next, you get Sid with Tenay, and Sid has a little kid with him. I thought it was the kid from Life Goes On. The kid. Listen, I'm not trying to be a dick, man. I was trying to figure out why this kid was randomly with him.
Well, they have had Wayne Arnold, right? He's been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
So why maybe not Corky be there?
He calls him coach, and the kid tried to say some shit, but I didn't understand a goddamn thing he said. Sid cuts a promo on Steve Williams. So next you get Dr. Death with OK versus Sid with Coach, is the kids, what they're calling him, and a suplex versus powerbomb match. Vampiro comes out, chases OK, Sid hits a powerbomb, then a choke slams OK, Hall and Nash come in, Nash hits a powerbomb to Sid. Tenay's with the Outsiders, and Scott Hall goes, "Brett and Goldberg, you're next." It was kind of funny. Next, you get Luger and David Flair versus Sting and DDP in a no DQ match. Sting and DDP end up fighting. Shivani says, "I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this." Bullshit, you say that every week. Even Heenan goes, "Who's on whose team?" Luger tosses the headless teddy bear into the crowd. Liz comes in, grabs the crowbar from Luger. Luger gets a chair. Liz shields Sting. David comes in with the crowbar, attacks Luger and powders. Liz rolls Sting on top of Flair for the 3 count. On top of Luger for the 3 count. Hooray. Canyon and crew are with Gene. Bertha Faye walks in and wants Mr. Big's opinion of her dancing. Then Bam Bam comes in. It's like, "Oh, shit, what's up, Canyon?" They start talking shit, and Bam Bam and Canyon end up fighting. And they have a match next, and Canyon wins. Oh, God. Next, you get Disco Dish Rag and LaRue versus the Wise Guys in a body bag match. They get LaRue in a body bag, and they bring him out to the back loading dock, and they say, "We're going to throw him in the river." Hooray. During the break, I'll just tell you, LaRue escapes, and then Norman Smiley gets in there to hide. Great. Next, you get Paul Orndorff versus Creative Control. Yeah, at this point, I'd rather take Orndorff versus Zbyszko. And speak of the devil, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko come in for the save. Orndorff hits a pile driver for the win. But then the ref says Orndorff is DQ'd. Hooray. Hennig
This is the
versus
end of the episode yet. Jesus Christ.
Almost. Hennig versus
Fucking
Piper.
Nitro feels longer and longer and longer each week.
A public service announcement. I am going to just start fast forwarding through as much of Nitro as I can.
Oh, it's about time he caught up.
Yeah, no shit. Exactly. Hennig versus Piper in a chair match. At one point, Hennig just double birds Piper and heads to the back. We see Bret Hart's been attacked in his locker room. And we get our main event. It's the Outsiders versus Goldberg and Bret Hart for the tag titles. So it's just 1-on-2 for a while here. Bret comes to the ring towards the end of the match. Nash pins Bret while Goldberg is setting up for a jackhammer. And trash just starts raining down on the ring. Good night, folks.
And that was the go home for Starrcade, you said, right?
Starrcade, yes. I don't know what they accomplished here, but
ain't that a kick in the head?
boo.
Too soon? Oh, come on. Whatever. You'll get it once he gets kicked next week. All right, let's go to the topic.
Kicked his heed through his heed.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for...
Ho, ho, ho. Bah humbug. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. It's our top topic, where we're going to chat a little bit about some Christmas, some tunes, the one that we dig. But we decided we were really going to hit up the Mount Rushmore, right? That's what we usually use, our top 4 at least, for your essential Christmas movies. And to me, I assume it's just probably the 4 you watch yearly at minimum. I would assume it's probably for you. Same.
I wasn't listening to you. I was thinking about pornography.
Wrong ho. Wrong ho ho ho. Well, you fucked it up. You fucked up Christmas. Jesus Christ.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It was either you or the racist uncle. Someone was doing it.
You know, Christmas is at his house this year.
So, earlier we talked, you said that you are, before we even got on air, I made a joke. I was like, none when it comes to Christmas music. Look I worked in a mall multiple times in my life.
Right.
You know, hearing Christmas music nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
It takes its toll on you. But there are ones that I think are essential. So, but I want to let you go ahead and go first. Go ahead. Give me some of your jingles that you appreciate at Christmas time that don't make you turn the channel or punch yourself in the face.
My jingles. Well, I'll give you my favorite one of all time. It's Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy, David Bowie and Bing Crosby. Classic.
Okay.
Outstanding. Would you like some more?
Well, yeah, why not, man? Run through your list. I'll give you mine after.
All right, there you go. I know this is a very polarizing one. Most people fucking hate this song to the point where it's made into a game to see how long you can go without hearing it. But I do like Last Christmas by Wham.
I'm not opposed to that song.
If you want to go a little more depressing, there's a great Tom Waits song called Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis. Absolutely fantastic.
You said dark. I thought, like, baby, I can't make it home for Christmas. No, you're like, there's hookers to blow.
Yeah, pretty much. Stop taking dope. Quit drinking whiskey. Christmas.
You've been to my family parties around Christmas.
Christmas All Over, Tom Petty.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's a jam.
There you go. Listen, anything that the Ronettes do, I love. They do a sleigh ride. You know, it's the Ronettes, so I like it. Another big classic for me, takes me back to my childhood, is Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
I like that one.
That's a
That's a deep
one.
cut for some.
Yeah, for some, yeah. Jingle Bell Rock, Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a decent one.
And then, two just that are, just songs because I like the artist. You got Happy Christmas, The War Is Over by John Lennon, and Merry Christmas Baby by Otis Redding.
So, Merry Christmas Baby by Otis. Okay. So, not Bruce. What's your take on Bruce when it comes to his Christmas shit?
It's what's that? Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's the big one. I don't mind it. I just never was a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I'll be honest with you. I have a YouTube Christmas song playlist with all of those songs I just listed. The Bruce Springsteen one's actually on there, but I don't know. I relegate him to the honorable mentions, I'll say.
I don't like the Merry Christmas, baby. I just gotta say it. But I don't mind Santa Claus Coming to Town. It's funny because if you go back 2 years to our Ray DeVito Baked Potato episode where we had a story about how my fucking Christmas show went, I opened with fucking Bruce, and I opened with someone I don't even like, but I got a good reaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have more you're adding to?
That's it. That's my list.
Mine, honestly, top to bottom, 100 times in a row. All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah Carey.
I'm going to come and murder you.
Well, let's not get us kicked off for saying real fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So, oddly enough, I had to go to my iPod because I have an iPod playlist. And I had to pull it out. So, look, this is going to be in alphabetical order as I'm going through. But there's ones that like I said, see if I can get this right. I'm an OG guy. I like the original versions as they are. So I don't need someone to do White Christmas. Bing Crosby got that shit locked down. It's done. No one needs to do it again.
Agreed.
Like some I'm okay with repeating or trying to do different versions of.
It's funny. It's really funny because in the video for Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy, it's Bowie meeting Bing Crosby, right? And, he's
Yep.
talking about doing, what his family does. And Bowie goes, I even have a go at White Christmas. And Bing Crosby goes, you too, huh? Just meaning that everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing their version of it. But I'm with you. Yeah, Bing doing it is a number one.
Well, and it's funny because, to me, the only version I'd ever heard of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen was very choir-like. And I grew up in a church as well as doing it in chorus in school. Sang a fuckload of Christmas music, man. Fun ones, too, that you don't really even hear a lot of people do nowadays. But, the kid ones. But one of them being, shit. God damn it, with what you just said there, and I just lost it. You fucker. Anyway, I'll get back to it.
Got to be good at something.
No, yeah. I'm okay. Oh, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. It was always a choir version. But then Sarah McLachlan, I think, and Bare Naked Ladies brought out a real badass acoustic version. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Oh, yeah, I actually know that one. Yeah, that's actually not too bad.
If you do it right, I'll accept it.
And I hate the Bare Naked Ladies.
Same. But the version, you're like, God damn, it's fucking catchy. I think I'm going to go grab a guitar and see if I can do it. But for me, Baby It's Cold Outside, that's a jam. Elvis, you got your Blue Christmas. Also, Porky Pig, his version's pretty good. I'll have a blue. What are your thoughts on Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Fantastic. We went and saw him a few years ago, and I got Jackie the record. We play it every Christmas.
Carol the Bells, of course. It's funny how everybody's like, yo, did you guys hear Metallica's new Christmas song? No. I'll never forget that. Early 2000s, people were like, Metallica. No. They have another one. I goddamn can't remember exactly the name of it from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but the violinist, it's like like fucking just fast upbeat. I like their stuff, to be honest with you. I'm a very big fan of listening to some of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I'm not just I don't like band orchestra kind of shit generally. Obviously you got Adam Sandler's Hanukkah songs are always fun. Surprised you didn't say the Alvin and the Chipmunks, man, the Christmas song.
Okay, I'm sorry to disappoint.
No, a good one. Christmas Time Is Here from Ray Charles.
Yeah, that is a good one. I actually think I just heard that in Wegmans today.
And it's obviously it's done in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when he's stuck up in the attic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got your dumb shit like Grandma got ran over by a reindeer and Dominic the Christmas Donkey.
Yeah, I know, right? Police stole my car.
But man, looking through, I mean, I still don't understand how Mele Kaliki Maka really became a song that people like, but oh well.
Also in the same movie, yeah.
Yeah, very true. It's not Christmas Time Is Here. It was Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles.
Ah, okay.
And the one I was thinking of before was Wizards of Winter by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Other than that, you've pretty much named everything else that I'm into when it comes to them. But man, for the most part, it's just nowadays it's the same song, just different artist.
Pretty much.
But I'm an OG classic when it comes to Christmas music. So, chat me up, as Conrad Thompson says. Tell me. Give me your 4 Mount Rushmore of Christmas movie.
Just want me just list them off? Just rattle them off? All right. Here we go. No particular order. We've got Scrooged.
Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you not hear me? All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what the fuck's going on today?
I have no idea. Technology sucks.
God damn. All right. I finished off where I was at, but I just asked you about.
You said, all right, give me your Christmas movies, and I was asking you, you want me to just rattle them off? So,
all right, give it 10 seconds or 15. Ask the same question again.
Okay. You want me to just rattle them off, or you know, alternate?
You know what? I think that's probably best because we are likely to have probably 2 minimum on our list together is the same, and no use in going back and forth. And yeah, give me yours, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, no particular order. I got Scrooged, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, Christmas Story, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
3 out of 4 we agreed upon.
There you go.
My 4th, so I had National Lampoon's, I had Scrooge, and I have A Christmas Story. But the era I grew up in, the original Home Alone to me is kind of a personal one for me. So it's always a big Christmas one.
Definitely on my HM's list for sure.
Well, let's talk about that HM list. See, I'll take over from here, at least on what I had. I had Home Alone 2.
Sure.
Christmas with the Cranks is something I was introduced to from my wife. And here I was like, whatever. I'm not really a Tim Allen fan, really. I mean, like, I didn't mind Home Improvement. But I never watched any of the Santa Claus movies with him. But Christmas with the Cranks with him, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dan Aykroyd, I think it's hysterical. Are you familiar with Cranks?
I am not as much as you are, but
phrasing, my friend. How familiar are you with a crank? You have your way around a crank time of year? No.
Speaking of, is your throat feeling better?
It is. Thank you very much for asking, you cocksucker.
I think you're the cocksucker here.
Yeah, I got it. Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's a Turbo Man. Nobody wants a booster. One of my favorite Sinbad roles, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Four Christmases, I think, is pretty good. With Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon, John Favreau, or however the fuck you say his name, is in it. It's fantastic. I think that's a good one. But have you ever watched Office Christmas Party? Jason Bateman?
No, I don't think I have seen that one. You see the new movie he's in? A little sidetrack.
I haven't yet. I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
I meant the promo. Yeah. Okay. No, I haven't seen that one.
Carry on. So, Office Christmas Party is Jason Bateman with T.J. Miller, and they work at a business together, and they're trying to save the company. T.J. Miller's sister is Jennifer Aniston, and they just have one big fucking Office Christmas party. It's so goddamn good. But I forgot. They're straight up people Xeroxing their dicks, just to do a thing on the company printer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my cousin was like, "Hey man, you guys got a Christmas movie my kids can watch tonight?" I'm like, "Hey, watch this. I think this is pretty good." I don't have kids. I forgot. I don't know. What do you want from me?
Sounds like
That's
problem.
A real story. And Deck the Halls with Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick.
Oh, wow, I don't remember that, but wow, that sounds interesting. I'll have to check that one out.
Competition for who has the most lit lights or who's the most Christmassy person that time of
year. Okay.
What did I miss?
Let's see. I had Bad Santa on there. I always enjoy that one. It's a pretty funny-ass movie. I am putting Die Hard on there just because you got to put it on the list. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let's see. Elf. That one, to me, that's not bad. I do like The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's technically a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie.
You know what's weird is I've never watched that, and not by any means of I didn't want to. I just never have had the chance to see it. It's funny about Elf for me is that I'm every time it's on, And then the other night I'm watching it, and he just goes across the street, and he gets hit by the car, and I fucking nearly pissed my pants. I was like, I forgot about that. So, like, there's a lot of good parts in the movie that they're good, man. They're good
Absolutely.
ones.
And then I threw Gremlins on there. Obviously, just the OG. Actually, did Gremlins 1 and 2 take place during Christmas? I don't remember.
Number 2 for sure.
Oh, then yeah, then I say both Gremlins then.
Yep. So, a lot of people like to use planes, trains, and automobiles, but that's more of a Thanksgiving.
That's Thanksgiving, yeah.
Right.
100%.
You know what else is a Thanksgiving movie? Is Dutch. With Ed O'Neill.
Yes. Great movie.
Just had my wife watching it the other night, and she was like getting tired. I'm like, no, we're going to watch this when you're ready to watch the rest of it, because it's when they get in the car with the 2 fucking hookers.
She's trying to get the lotion to get the ring off his finger, and it goes right into his mouth.
The kid's just drooling on the girl in the back. He's like, I'm in love. But one that is a Christmas movie that people don't talk about, I think is a Christmas movie, is Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Because they always end up talking at Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that to me is more Christmassy than Die Hard. I mean, even more so, like, he goes to see his mom at her new family with a new kid and all that shit. To me, that's I think that's Christmas one that no one ever talks about.
Yeah, it's definitely in that category of, is this a Christmas movie or not? Lethal Weapon's another one, actually. The first one.
It's funny. I hate the second. I like
Really?
Die Hard 1 and 2. Or Die Hard 1 and 3. The one with Samuel L. Jackson. I hate Die Hard 2.
That's weird. I actually like
You
the
like
second
Die
one.
Hard 2?
Yeah. Oh, Die Hard 2. I thought you meant Lethal Weapon 2. No, I agree with you. I don't care for the second one either.
Wow, I just took a turn. I heard you say Lethal Weapon, and I was like, yeah, Die Hard. But now I know what you're saying. But yeah, Lethal Weapon was a Christmas one as well, when he's choking the guy out in the front yard.
Yeah, the Christmas tree, yeah, because he ran the car into the house.
Yep. Holy shit, good call. Christmas is fun. Well, we've actually watched a couple of them so far, and we got a couple more to go. We always have like our yearly, here's a couple we're going to watch for sure. Scrooged, I'm generally on my own. Not because my wife hates Bill Murray or the movie Scrooged itself. She's not a fan of the, what do you call it, the whole storyline of just the whole Ebenezer Scrooge and the past,
right,
present, future. It's been overdone, which I agree, but I don't know. I'm a very big fan of Scrooge. It gets better each time I watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can at least see the nipples. I don't even see what you're looking at.
And these guys are really looking.
Oh, good shit. Next week, we are back where we are bringing what Wheezy or a new fan should watch. We're bringing it from the Elite 8 to the end, the Final 4. Because we're going to let Wheezy decide from those Final 4 what's the best. But from there, yeah, finally breaking it down. I think we actually got some feedback last week. I actually got a message from Marty. He definitely disagreed with one of our choices, but hey, the show goes on, unfortunately. It's
Unfortunately.
tournament. Well, and not unfortunately, I mean more of like, man, the tournament is like, we really should have separated like all NXT versus NXT, then Ring of Honor versus Ring of Honor, because when you start mixing them in together, it's like, oh my God.
It would have taken a while to seed everything properly, so we just went with the random number generator, basically.
Because we're lazy.
Yep, pretty
Welcome
much.
to our show. You've listened to it.
I don't get paid enough to do all that noise.
Well, we're back next week as always. I'm the Professor. I bid you a farewell. He's ODM. Whatever things are floating around in his mind is what's going to come out in about 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, Professor. I'm actually just going to end on a very simple note. Again, wish you a happy birthday and let you know that I got a Christmas gift for you, or a birthday gift, I should say. I watched Joe Kobashi.
Yes! And?
It sucks. See you next week, folks.
You piece of shit.
The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM, the Doc Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
Bob's Chicken Palace, home of the largest breast. What's your size?
Your mom.
You'd like a saggy, shriveled up piece of chicken? Yes, sir.
You.
Going to the wars then before we lose this shit.
Right. It'll flare up just as soon as we get started.
Like a bad testicle every time I try to have sex. I only got one.
Hey, one nut, grab me a beer.